Hello, I'm Ron Hill. I'm an experienced clerk to the corporation and governance advisor, and also a researcher in further education.
Hi, I'm David Crosby. I'm Vice Chair of the Hugh Baird College Corporation, and I'm also Chair of the Quality and Standards Committee. Just to kick this off then, Ron, I've got some questions for you. Um, in terms of English and maths in colleges, so the first question I've got for you is, in terms of English and maths, what have you been seeing in practice in colleges currently?
Well, David, I've visited a number of colleges in the last month or so, and English and maths is definitely on the agenda for governing bodies. I've I've observed presentations to governing bodies from usually the coordinator for English and maths. And I think governors have been presented with a picture of the efforts that colleges are going to deliver a high quality provision. So it's definitely there. It's definitely being considered. But whether it's being considered in the right way for governors to make a good contribution, I'm not so sure.
So in relation to English and maths, what information do you think governors should have?
Well, I think it needs to be a high level, dispassionate report. Perhaps I've seen quite a lot of description and quite a lot of emotion in the reporting to governors up to now. Governors need to be able to see the picture, but also they need to be able to make decisions, make judgments about the degree to which their college is doing the right thing, the best thing for their learners. And so I think having a high level, dispassionate report that brings together key information and uses milestones can be the greatest use to governors. Also, it may be useful for governing bodies to meet with the appropriate senior manager who would oversee English and maths, perhaps rather than the coordinator for English and maths, who might just be a little bit too close to the action and the emotion.
So Ron, when you say high level dispassionate report, what kind of things would you expect to see?
Well, I think the following are going to be important. What's the delivery model? How is the how does that re-engage demotivated, disaffected learners? What is the extent of staff training and development? What are the indicators around the quality of delivery? What are the circumstances of delivery? What are the practicalities? The timing of classes, class location, size, ability grouping, and how is best practice being shared? And what innovations are there? What ideas are being trialed? And how is that working? And who has responsibility for making those judgments?
How can governors scrutinise the delivery model to ensure that it's supporting learner achievement?
Well, the delivery model has to be tested. And I think an audit approach of systems and controls may be helpful. Governors maybe need to deep dive to make sure that the information they're getting around attendance, around performance, around delivery, around circumstances actually is the case. And the extent to which governors can then pursue with confidence their role, I think, can be considerably improved by the testing. And that testing could be simply by identifying from a list of learners, maybe 10, maybe 15, a reasonable sample, and just check making the check through the records, making the check through the details that apply to those learners to be sure that the system is comprehensive and is covering all aspects that you would expect to see reported. But scrutiny, making sure that the controls and systems are in place, is a key part of the role for governors.
So what milestones should governors set to monitor progress during the course of the year?
Well, the importance of milestones is that you don't want to reach July 2016 and not know what to expect, where you are, and have missed the opportunities to achieve intervention. So it's about working through with your senior staff ways in which between now, late October 2015 and July 2016, what you can expect to see and when. And so the timing of milestone reporting is important. And a key element within that reporting is going to be attendance levels of learners. You're going to want to have some kind of formal monitoring of student progress, something about distance travelled, something about the assessment of teaching and learning for English and maths, something about maybe key performance indicators for the continuous professional development of staff who are involved in English and maths. Learner feedback would be very important, and perhaps something around the structure of staffing, that mix between full and part-time staffing, and their capability for performing English and maths teaching to a high standard.
So what systems are in place to support those milestones and provide governors with assurance that the information they're receiving is complete and robust?
Well, I think the importance here is for you to, as governors, to have that confidence that the way in which your milestones are being reported to you is accurate. And you therefore need to feel that you're working with your senior member of staff in a close and a responsible way in order to appreciate the systems that feed those milestones. You don't want vague possibilities, you want a comprehensive understanding that those milestones are accurate and that those milestones can be relied upon. And you also want accessibility. You do not want to be bombarded with data, you don't want to be bombarded with lots of description, you want clear understanding of what was our milestone, where are we in relation to it.
And how should governors monitor risks associated with the maths and English agenda and its impact on the college?
Well, David, I think this is critical, this method, and the risks are great. We know that from previous experience, and I think it prompts the generation of a specific risk register. We know from our experiences of risk management that risk registers can be very, very helpful in both identifying what are actually the risks and then prompting a response to those risks, the mitigations in order to address those risks. And I think it would be a really good idea to try to develop a risk register for English and maths and to enable governors to judge whether the responses to those risks are appropriate and to be indeed able to test how those mitigations are going to work if and when they're needed. So I think it's an approach we might just borrow from the audit committee to focus in on English and maths in particular and help governors test whether or not staff really have in mind the way in which English and maths is delivered and to the highest possible standard.
So I found that really informative, Ron, and thank you for that. But finally, what actions can we as governors take now?
Well, there's not much time between where we are now, late October 2015, and July 2016. in reality, there are not that many working weeks, not that many governor weeks. So here's 5 points that I'd like to draw to your attention. The first one, check the systems that are going to feed your reporting. Are they able to produce timely reports? Are they able to produce comprehensive reports? Secondly, review the reporting style. Does it help you? Does it make sense to you? Is it accessible? Do you know what those messages are? Go beyond the descriptive. Thirdly, make sure you have a clear sense of the milestones you're expected to be reporting to you between now and next July. What are those milestones? Are they stretching enough? Are they demanding enough? And are they a mix of quantitative and qualitative? Because you don't just necessarily want to rely on the numbers here. Milestones can be very, very informative in helping you as governors reach judgments about the pace of progress and the degree to which some intervention may be necessary. Fourthly, think about forming a risk register as soon as possible in order to help you appreciate the degree to which the risks inherent with English and maths are being anticipated and can be dealt with. And finally, as part of all this, develop a very active and positive relation with the senior member of staff with overall responsibility for English and maths so that you can work together and benefit from that relationship.
Well, thank you for that, Ron, and I think that I found that really informative.